Walmart employees, what's the worst thing you have seen inside your store? Somebody put bleach ammonia and Drano in the fish tanks. Another time somebody sprayed deer pee all over the toy section. I am really glad I don't work there anymore. There's not a single animal on this planet that I have more pity for than Walmart fish. Always stashed away in the cold, dark, smelly corner of the store with nobody in it. Probably gonna be bought by some M-head for their poorly disciplined child and housed in a critter keeper with some gravel from their driveway in it, where it will die a week later because the kid stopped caring. Bless em. Had a customer in a motorized scooter, his personal one, not store provided, come up to me at the sporting goods desk and he asked me where the cans of compressed air are. I walk him over to some and he thanks me, grabs a can off the shelf, and proceeded to start huffing it right in front of me. When I worked in electronics, at least customers had the decency to go to the bathroom before huffing. So I used to stock the crafts section on overnights. I'm kinda an awkward person, so no human contact was great for me. This old guy on a scooter insisted upon sitting in my aisle for like hours, just staring at the needles. Okay, whatever. I stocked everything I could, but finally I needed him to move, and honestly I was a little creeped out at this point. I mentioned it to my manager on the way to lunch. After lunch he was gone. Turns out he had died there like 5 hours ago. This definitely qualifies as worst thing you've seen in a store. I worked at Walmart for all of my teenage years, and there was so much poop where it shouldn't be. That's the most disgusting. The worst would have been when some thieves attempted to run out the door, followed closely by loss prevention, turned around and sprayed them with mace, which then wafted into the store. A few seniors had to be taken to the hospital for respiratory issues. Everyone working in the store spent all day coughing as the mace lingered in the air, because heaven forbid they shut the store down and think of anyone else's health. When I worked at Walmart, a week wouldn't go by without someone crapping on the ground somewhere in the store, usually in the clothes section. I actually did my sociology thesis on how the clothing aisle was most prone to tweaker-related floor defecation. I worked at Walmart about 20 years ago, being the manager of the photo lab before digital took over, so my department was right next to the electronics department. I'm chatting with the manager of the electronics department, and all of a sudden we hear a woman yell, "Here it comes." We then see a middle-aged woman frantically scuttling down the aisle, holding her shorts near the back. She ran to the restroom, leaving a trail of liquid crap behind her. It looked like when a dog is sick and you're trying to get them out the door before they make a mess all over your carpet, and they keep stopping to crap every few seconds. An employee went in with a pair of pants off the shelf to help out. She put them on and made a beeline toward the exit without paying for them, leaving her soiled shorts in the stall on the floor. Ex-employee saw some crazy lady probably on some kinda drugs take out her tampon and throw it at someone cause they didn't like her tone. Crazy B just plucked it out and tossed it like a bloody hand grenade. It's kinda crappy to bring up because it's sad and I'm not trying to make fun of the guy, but it's like 4 AM and this man dressed in a suit and fedora comes in. No face. I concluded some kind of cancer had ate away his face. All he had left was eyes and a massive cancerous hole. He just gurgled. We had to have him write down what he needed. It was sad, but god dang it, it scared the absolute crap out of me and I never really forgot. Not an employee, but a very frequent Walmart shopper. All the Walmarts around me are pretty nice. Never seen anything nasty going on. But there was an incident once that still sticks with me to this day. When I was younger, my mom had to grab meds at Walmart in the middle of a storm. It wasn't a bad storm or anything, just very rainy with some thunder. But it was supposed to continue for several days, so of course the store was packed. So we were in line at the in-store pharmacy, and there was a man who was clearly mentally disabled, with a helper, in the front of the line. The man between us and them was this dude who in my young mind must have been a lawyer. Did not fit the stereotypical Walmart look at all, wearing an expensive looking suit, perfectly gelled hair, literally carrying a briefcase. He looked annoyed that he was there at all. He intensely reminded me of Patrick Bateman, just an air of disinterest and arrogance, and was brushing his coat off every time anyone walked too close to him. "Everything's fine. and the guy and his helper at the front of the line get their prescriptions and start to turn around. Just as they do, there's a huge thunderclap and suddenly, the power goes out in the store. It's not pitch black, but it's dark as heck, and immediately there's commotion in line. I look up just in time to witness disabled man punch lawyer dude square in the face. Lights flicker, come back on. Lawyer man is standing there holding his bloody nose looking like he's ready to murder someone. Disabled guy is freaking out. Helper is profusely apologizing and trying to help lawyer guy. Lawyer guy waves him off with a glare, walks to the front and calmly says his name plus info and throws down some money. Pharmacist hands him prescription, which he snatches wordlessly and turns away, brushing past me still holding his nose, leaving a trail of blood on the linoleum floor. I don't know why, but the entire thing felt so surreal. I still remember it like it just happened. Wildest thing I've ever seen in Walmart. I've only been working at a Walmart for 2 weeks. I've had 3 people lose their temper on me. One woman slam her cart into someone else's cart because she couldn't buy alcohol with an expired ID. And one guy tried to walk away with a whole cart of groceries, in which a different customer walked after him and literally dragged him back inside. Again, 2 weeks. As a police officer, Walmart pretty much keeps me employed. My time to shine. First job out of high school, 2009. Moved cross country to be with my girlfriend. End up working at a Walmart as a janitor overnight in the worst part of town in Tulsa. Admiral Memorial for any locals. This place had everything it could underlock. High theft, and a few people had died there, so the workers nicknamed it Kill Mart. One night, a guy is in the sporting goods area and wants to buy something. He takes his wallet out, sets it on the counter for a second. Thief walks up and grabs it, runs off. The victim proceeds to grab a golf club, chase the man down and violently beat him in an aisle. Blood, broken neck. I'm like 95% positive the guy died. Destroyed aisle. Everyone in the store flipped. A bunch were calling people to view it in the CCTV room. My manager waved me down and asked me to clean up the aisle so the store would look nice for the morning. You know, the crime scene. I clocked out for lunch, quit the next day. Heck yeah, brother, you get your wallet bio crap. Reminds me of the video of that McDonald's cashier who snapped and whipped the ever-living crap out of a dude with a metal rod for jumping the counter at him. Watched a high schooler stoned out off his mind trip over his own feet and slam through a middle aisle display of those egg crate file holders. Those suckers went everywhere. Also an old woman tracking diarrhea through the store trying to find the bathroom cause she crap herself. First one, freaking hilarious. Second one, sad. Worst ever. Some people signed up for an oil change, then threw one of those household bug bomb foggers into their car while they waited. When the technician went out to pull the car in, it was full of white smoke from the insecticide and the interior was covered in thousands of roaches all trying to escape the fog. We told them to leave. Worst this week. Guy signs up for an oil change, and the technicians find 2 live cats in under the hood of the minivan. The owner came out to deal with it, saying they were his. Other than the people freaking out and throwing crap, and one junkie who continuously stole cans of compressed air for dusting computers to do whippets in the handicapped bathroom, how that didn't kill him I still don't know. One story stands out. This elderly obese woman came in with her service dog, a little chihuahua or something, probably for anxiety, gets one of the electric scooters, puts the dog with its leash into the basket. During the course of her shopping, the leash goes through the grate of the basket onto the floor and gets run over by the wheels of the scooter. The leash gets twisted up in the motor of the scooter. Eventually, the leash gets yanked tight and begins to strangle the dog. The dog uses what little air it has to panic, but quickly falls silent. The woman does nothing about this. Once she gets to the front of the store, she decides to check on the dog, strangled to death 6 inches in front of her. She flips crap and screams at every employee she can find, telling them to do something. Save her dog. I guess she didn't know it was dead. It was their fault. Blah blah. The dog had been dead for almost 20 minutes before she decided to check on it. Pee and crap all over the inside of the cart that she didn't manage to notice or smell for 20 freaking minutes. I no longer work at Walmart. I unfortunately have no idea whether she sued or not, or what really came of it afterwards. My mom worked at Walmart for about a year. She actually liked it as she was more active, but she decided to quit after the jewelry department manager had a meltdown and started throwing jewelry at customers. One old lady got pelted in the head with a heavy ring box and it was over. Turns out the manager was selling the jewelry to friends and family, but would keep the boxes and stuff them with rocks and trash so inventory would stay the same. She had the meltdown before she was caught. They had to drag her out of the store that day. Once while I was restocking shelves there was a kid pee into an open cereal box. Mine actually happened yesterday. I was walking back to my area and saw one of my co-workers in front of a puddle. She said, "Walk around." I responded, "I don't want to know." Her immediate response was, "It is urine." I lowered and shook my head and walked by. Let's see. I've seen people tripping balls. I've seen a guy walking on 10 feet stilts. A guy with his dong out. A lady pull her pants down to adjust her panties. A guy pass out from huffing an aerosol can. A chick passed out on the ground. Low blood sugar. A car catch on fire. An employee die in his car in a parking lot. Old, and lots of fights. I am sure there's more, but I can't remember. No, I personally didn't see some of these, but I'm friends with employees. There's nothing to do in this town, so when something happens, I hear the stories a few times. An employee die in his car in a parking lot. Old, I've heard of some awful ways to go, but that has to be the saddest. I can't think of anything worse than sitting in the Walmart parking lot and my last thoughts are dreading having to go back in there. Someone throwing their used children diaper on top of the freshly baked cookies I just put out. Had to throw out 700 cookies. Oh, that's nasty. I've been working at Walmart for 2.5 years and I've seen it all. The worst thing I've seen was a man who was checking out in the self-checkout. All was good until this smell whiffed by. I didn't think much of it and figured the guy had farted. He proceeded to shake his left leg until a large slimy turd came out his pants. He took his receipt and left. Needless to say, I did not pick that up and called maintenance over. I can only imagine the feeling of a warm turd sliding down my leg. My roommate worked at Walmart for years. The worst story she told me was when some lady confused the fitting rooms for a restroom and she took a big dump in one of the stalls, right on the floor. At some point during the deed or just after, she realized what she'd done and tried to clean it up, but all she could find was a paper towel roll. Just the roll. No paper towels. So she stuck the roll in her pile of crap like a flagpole and went about her day. I worked as a photo lab specialist for 2 years and saw some really awful pics. The worst was a toddler surrounded by her buds and guns. We had to get the on-duty cop involved when the guy came back to pick them up. I worked customer service at Walmart for a little bit and one night just as I was closing customer service down, a man came in screaming for help. He was wearing a white shirt but it was drenched red in some areas. He said he was shot twice and he thought he was gonna die. He lifted up his shirt to show us he wasn't just some druggie and really needed help. Lo and behold, there were 2 holes bleeding around this man's torso. Lucky for him, an off-duty paramedic was in line buying groceries and called it in fast for the ambulance. Just started a month ago but I've already seen 1. Crap covered stall and the man attempting to take a bath in the bathroom to clean himself. 2. I heard a father say to his daughter, "I will slap the crap out of you in this store and I don't care who sees." 3. And finally a bag of crap. It wasn't a lot, so I'm gonna assume a kid's crap hidden behind Legos. I was an overnight manager at the time. The store is located in the shittiest area of a major city at a 24-hour store. At around 2 AM the overnight loss prevention associate had just caught a guy shoplifting on the cameras and I had been called up to help him. Things go smoothly. The guy had stolen less than $50 worth of stuff and complied, so it went pretty easy. After letting the shoplifter go, the loss prevention associate had some paperwork to do, so I jumped on the cameras to see what's going on in the store. I soon find a shady looking individual lurking around the electronics department. He's clearly making sure no one is in the vicinity watching him. He sneaks into an aisle and grabs an all-in-one monitor desktop combo wrapped in spider wrap. I still don't know why a $1,000 plus computer wasn't locked behind a cage. He quickly takes it to a different aisle, easily works the spider wrap off the box, takes the computer out and shoves it into his sweat pants. Slinking over into the clothing racks in apparel, he hides the computer in some pants and sneaks around for the next 15 to 30 minutes trying to watch the employees up front by the registers. At this time of night only our cigarette aisle is open. All of a sudden, while watching a blonde lady in our only open register line and crouched behind a rack of shirts, he pulls out his dong and starts wanking it. Then he wiped himself clean on a shirt that was hanging in front of him. At this point we know we don't want to deal with him at all, so we call the cops. Well, as soon as he finished cleaning off, he heads back to where he hid the computer, puts it back in his pants, and starts to head our way. We realized he was going to get to us before the cops, so as soon as he passes out last point of sale, we head out of the monitoring room and confront him. It is here that I should mention that we are supposed to be a hands-off store, as in if we confront a shoplifter we're supposed to stop them with words. But at this location in the middle of the night everybody's a runner. Obviously this guy decides to run. We tackle him and pin him to the ground. Luckily soon after the police show up and we let them handle him from there. After seeing him wank, he definitely becomes hands off. Not Walmart but Lowe's. Someone had a mobile meth lab set up in lawn and garden. Not an employee, but I'm dang glad I wasn't for this one. One fateful afternoon, my bladder decided that it needed relief, so I ducked into the restroom while I was in my local Walmart. The two urinals were out of order, which left the handicapped accessible stall and the regular stall. Someone was in the regular stall, so I opened the door to the handicapped stall and saw what I can only describe as the aftermath of a crap explosion. There was chocolate pudding consistency crap on the floor, the seat of the toilet, the wall behind the toilet, on the toilet paper dispenser, everywhere. It looked like someone had stood with their pants down, bent over and starting spinning while letting forth like some sort of scatological lawn irrigation fountain. My bladder would have to wait, as I gently made my way out of the restroom, making a mental note to burn the shoes I was wearing that day. I saw a kindly looking older man in a yellow vest pushing a cleaning cart towards the entrance to that hellhole of vile human excrement and villainy. I'm not a religious man, but I offered up whatever good vibes I could muster for that man's surely soon to be crushed soul that day. Not an employee but off-duty police officer. Two homeless people dug out a hole into the paper towel section and were living in it. They finally found them when someone complained about two people making love in the toilet paper aisle. Also had a homeless person take a homeless alcoholic crap in the bike aisle. Those employees do not get paid enough. It's been years now since I worked there, but this is something I will never forget. I worked in the photo lab, which was right next door to electronics. There was a man and a child, the child being maybe 8, looking at video games. I kept hearing the child say he had to go to the bathroom, but his father wouldn't take him or let him go alone. Long story short, the boy obviously couldn't hold it any longer and crapped his pants. The father then told the son to shake it out. The kid did just that, and tons of turds fell out of his shorts onto the floor. The smell was atrocious and I honestly could not believe what I was witnessing. The father then walked over to my coworker and said, "Yeah, you better clean this up," and promptly left. I was stunned. I worked at a Walmart for one summer during college. I was a courtesy associate according to my name tag, but I preferred the title of cart wrangler. My job was to recover shopping carts, help customers get big stuff into their cars, trucks, and keep the parking lot clean. As a result, I had a particular disdain for a class of customers I referred to as oil changers. They'd run into the store to buy some automotive product, like engine oil or windshield washer fluid, use said product on their vehicle in the lot, and then leave a mess on their way out. My most memorable was a group of kids in their late teens, early 20s like myself at the time. Busted up little 4-banger sedan. I think it had no interior panels. They bought a trunk mounted subwoofer box, installed it in the lot, and left the empty cardboard box for me to clean up. Yes, it was a minor annoyance, but when there are 1 or 2 garbage cans in between each and every lane on the lot and you can't be bothered to use one, I think my annoyance was justified. A woman who really had to take a crap sprayed it all over the walls. No maintenance was there. I had to clean it. 2 really obnoxious xenophobic buttholes were walking around the store, obviously drunk or on drugs, casually calling any black person they saw the N-word. Not sure what ended up happening to them, but pretty sure they got kicked out by asset protection. That's it. I'm never going into a Walmart ever again. There must be some kind of force field or aura that gives people unstoppable diarrhea. My best friend Rumi worked Walmart and technically died there after having an aneurysm. The worst story was about the Hamburglar, a persons who would put a packaging of raw hamburger in their cart and then change their mind and leave the hamburger in some random spot. Sometimes it would be a couple of days before the Hamburglar's deed was uncovered. It was so bad that almost every employee started inspecting their area of responsibility, and pretty soon, the Hamburglar's foul deed were being discovered very quickly because no one wanted to deal with the leaky maggot mess. Then the assistant manager got caught leaving a package of hamburger in the shoe department. The Walmarts around here must be classy. I only ever hear crying babies or the occasional hushed argument, not even so much as an exposed butt crack. Didn't work at Walmart, but once I saw an entire family, man, woman, and son, who all had mullets. I thought that was pretty special. You have been visited by the romantic doggo. Comment love is magic so you never fall in the friend zone. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.